Well, hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and I want to show you a box set that I got recently that I think people may well be interested in. I'm very excited to receive this. I pre-ordered it several months ago when I found out it would be coming out. It is called "Playing for the Man at the Door," field recordings from the collection of Mack McCormick, 1958 to 1971. And tell you a little about the box itself and a little bit about Mack McCormick. Uh, Mack McCormick died a few years ago, and his daughter donated his massive collection of field recordings, interviews, papers, all kinds of research he had done for many, many years to the Smithsonian Institute. And they, in turn, took a manuscript on the search for the origins of Robert Johnson into a book, Searching for a Phantom, I believe it is called. And I read that book, by the way. Very good book. I probably got the exact title off a little bit. But they published his writings. He wrote it and never edited it, completed it, and submitted it for various reasons, and the Smithsonian Institute did so, and it's an excellent book about someone out in the field searching for an amateur musicologist, I guess you'd say, searching for anything he could find about the mysterious Robert Johnson. But these field recordings that make up this box set are recordings that he had kept all these years. I'd urge you. I'm not going into great detail about Mack McCormick here because it is a fascinating story. The man was a very interesting person. He had a lot of faults, and he was complicated, to say the least. But I'd urge you to read, Google his name, read some articles about him, read his book about searching for the roots of Robert Johnson, and learn more about him. It's a fascinating tale. But Smithsonian then went through all these mostly reel-to-reel tapes, I believe, and they got it down to 6 LPs, and they run from 1958 to 1971. Now, McCormick worked as he wrote liner notes for LPs. He was a talent scout for John Hammond when they were putting on these shows in Washington, D.C. for the Smithsonian and in New York. He would gather up the artists and get them up to New York or Washington, D.C. for performances and things like that. He did some of that, and of course lots of field recordings. He discovered Mancy Lipscomb, and he documented Lightning Hopkins a great deal. So there are several of Lipscomb's songs on here and several Lightning Hopkins, but maybe more important than those artists, there are lots of artists that are unknown to the general public. And I'll just show you the box taking it out. It's very well put together. It comes, I like this feature. They've got this so you don't have to dig down to try to pull the LPs out. You can use this to pull it up and not risk tearing the box. It comes with this extensive book. I won't say booklet, but you can see it's very extensive articles by several people, including Dom Flemings and folks at Jeff Place and John Troutman. They put this together. The Man at the Door, and there he is Mack McCormick there. I believe that's, is that Lightning he's with? No, that's Spider Kirkpatrick right there in the 1960s. But all kinds of documentation, different things here. And it goes through the artists, the songs. There's Nancy Lipscomb. And Mager Johnson. There's Tom Moore's store right there. They do two versions on here of Tom Moore, one by Lightning Hopkins and one by Nancy Lipscomb. And beginning of Manny Lipscomb's, he explains, and I'd heard this story before, that while he would record this song for Our Hooley, they had to agree that they would not release that song while he was still alive, because he feared repercussions from Tom Moore, who was a big landowner. The records come, and I put that in wrong, so that's why it's not working quite right. Nice sleeves for each record with a paper sleeve, but with the plastic inner part of the paper sleeve. And it goes through all the songs, all the artists and all the songs. Playing for the Man at the Door. 6 of these all together. Great photography. And I think we'll play, I'll give you a couple of examples here of what you're in for when you listen to this. First, let's listen to James Tisden doing Salty Dog Rag. This is probably what you when you think of a field recordings, what you might hear. One man, acoustic guitar, that sort of thing. So here's Salty Dog Rag.
Way down out of my old hometown, Arkansas. Oh, you foggy morning. Give me another beer here. I'm going to this dance tonight. I got to have me a little beer here or something. Old boots ain't been shined yet. Been in the country all the week too. I way down yonder in Arkansas, where my old grandpa met my old grandma. We hit that old buggy to broken down leg. We all went dancing to the Salty Dog Rag. A 1 foot front, you drag it back, then you starts to ball the jack. You zig it, zag it, and then she sway. Then she started dancing to the Salty Dog Rag. Oh, you foggy morning, get with it, boy. Boy, that's a pretty girl that guy's dancing with that.
I really like that song. I think you probably do. It's fairly typical of what you'll hear on here. There is a lot of one-man acoustic guitar. Probably the most interesting of the artists that is documented here is a guy they call George Coleman. They call him Bongo Joe, and he's unlike anything else you're going to hear here. Street musician, you can hear him playing on the side of the road with the cars going by, and he's playing. It sounds like some drums, like oil drums or something like you might hear in the West Indies or something, with this commentary going the whole time, this rhythmic, poetic commentary. There's one in here by him for president and vote for nobody for vice president. One commentary about the world at large, and there's one more on here. But what I was showing you before, I had it set up wrong before. It's got this little tag so that you can pull it out and get the individual copies. But it all fits very neatly in here. Several of the artists are playing piano. I think it tended, I've read in some other work that on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi, you tended to hear more musicians playing the piano. On the Tennessee, Mississippi side, more guitar. But I'm sure it cross-pollinated. But but more often you're hearing piano on the west side of the Mississippi. This is one called China Tea from Van Allen.
Piece called China Tea.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I first played it from Charlie Litton. See, that's the old swinging bass. This is the way the New Orleans boys played it.
In other words, the last half of that was the way,
Yeah.
the New Orleans style, huh?
Uh-huh.
And that has, what, less movement in the left hand, you said?
I think that's nice, and you hear at the end, you hear Mack McCormick asking him some questions about the style of play he's doing and that sort of thing. A bunch of songs on here, 6 LPs, a wide variety. The only criticism I would have, he recorded all kinds of, he recorded Mexican musicians living in Texas and things like that, playing their ethnic music. He recorded Zydeco and Cajun. He recorded a lot of different music. This is primarily what you're hearing is blues oriented stuff on here, and I love it. Great, but maybe Smithsonian Institute will come out with a volume 2, and there'll be a wider variety of the music that he did do field recordings for. As far as the price, considering this is a nice box set, 6 LPs, I paid less than $110 for it after tax and shipping and everything. I think I got mine from Pop Market. They were offering a sale price, and that worked out real well for me. You can also order it from the Smithsonian Folkways. Check around, check for price. I don't think it's more than $120 before taxes and shipping at the most anywhere, which is a whole lot better than these box sets we're seeing for $400 and $500 and things like that. Outrageous prices. So it's a good price. It is a great music, but it's also very much an historical artifact. The preserving of this music, we have to thank Mack McCormick for it originally, and we have to thank his daughter for donating all this to the Smithsonian Institute, and we have to thank the Smithsonian Institute for seeing the need and the great reward from releasing this. It's available in CD, and I'm sure it's available as a download, and it's available in LP form. So there's just a look at an important box set out there you may or may not be aware of. I hope some folks have some interest in that and may pick that up. Just stopping by to say hey and tell you about that. So everybody remember, please be kind to your neighbors, because we're all neighbors. Take care.